Hey, what's up, guys? Matt here with OddsJam. Probably not surprised by this, but I'm here to talk to you about the Super Bowl. So, obviously, we have Chiefs, Eagles. Technically, the Eagles are the home team here, but obviously, we all know this is played in Arizona. Money has been just flowing all over the place for the Super Bowl. It's actually been really, really interesting to track the money for the Super Bowl. And I do have a bet for this play or for this video, but I'm just kind of talking to you about how I found the bet and why the bet is valuable before I get into it itself. But so the spread or the lines opened up and the Eagles were like 1 point favorites, basically. Like the best money line odds you can get on them were like minus 112 or so. That quickly shot up to the best money line odds being minus 120. I think it got all the way up to minus 135. And then what I find interesting, the opposite started happening, and then money started coming in on the Chiefs. So at one point, the Chiefs were at like plus 112, plus 115. Now, the best odds you can get on them are down to plus 110, with the best odds on the Eagles down to minus 117. But with that said, it's not even a good value at minus 117 because it's the sharp sportsbooks. Pinnacle, minus 117. Bet Online, minus 117. And a bookmaker is another sharp sportsbook that has it up at minus 125. But the sharp sportsbooks are kind of updating their lines to not favor the Eagles as highly. As you can see, no other onshore regulated sportsbook has updated their lines yet. They're all still in the minus 120s and minus 130, which is pretty interesting just in terms of like the money and where it's coming and going. You want to follow the sharp action and you want to fade basically the square action. In this case, sharp action is coming in on the Chiefs. So plus 110 is pretty good right now on the Chiefs because maybe it's going to end a little bit closer to like even money, something like that. But another thing that's interesting is the money flowing in on the total and towards the over. So when I was first recording this, so the total was around 49 and 50 when I first opened it, but money is starting to come in on the over. Look at the majority of the sharp sportsbooks. Bookmaker updated their lines to 50. They were at 49.5, and they favor it going over. They have the over at minus 111, the under at minus 109. Pretty interesting. Pinnacle Sportsbook, another sharp one. They still have their total at 49.5, but they favor it going over as well. They have the over at minus 107, the under at minus 105. Now, both of these books are slightly favoring the over, right? They're not hammering it. They're not saying, they're not heavily favoring the over as I should say, but the money is coming in on the over. So despite the fact that the Chiefs money is coming in on them being less underdogs, money is also coming in on the total, which I found a really, really valuable bet. And this video is about why I am backing the opposite of fading the Eagles offense. So you can get their team total at 24.5 at minus 112 odds at Bet Rivers. This is a really, really good price. If you just look at where the rest of the sports books price it. Number one, compare the minus 112 to every other book. Sharp books, especially Pinnacle and Bet Online, are really hammering their lines towards the Eagles over. Bet Online being minus 130, Pinnacle being minus 126, only charging 18 cents of juice. So it's a pretty tight line that is heavily, heavily favoring the Eagles going over 24.5 points, which we can get it at minus 112 at Bet Rivers. And if you have XBet, you can also get it at minus 110. I locked this in earlier in the week. I got it at minus 110, as you can see here, but it's still a valuable play at minus 112. So I definitely recommend hitting it. If you view the event page in a new tab, it pulls up where sportsbooks price this total in general. And as we can see, BetMGM actually prices this. I mean, I'm not saying they're a sharp sportsbook, but regardless, BetMGM prices this 1 point higher, and they actually still favor it going over. So BetMGM is getting a ton of money in on the Eagles over, as are BetOnline and Pinnacle. It's probably only a matter of time before they increase their total for this to 25.5. And we can get a really, really good price at 24.5. Now, in terms of the game itself and why I am backing the Eagles offense. The Chiefs might score 30 points. This is not me telling you I think the Eagles are going to win. I do think that they're going to score a lot of points. They just put up 31 points against the best defense in the entire NFL in the San Francisco 49ers. Now, obviously, there were a ton of extenuating circumstances that went into that, them scoring 31 points. The 49ers couldn't really do much on offense, giving the Eagles a ton of opportunity. But when the game was still close, when it was 7-7 in the second quarter, the 49ers had just scored a touchdown to tie it. This was before Josh Johnson got hurt. Everybody in Philadelphia, including myself, was starting to get a little nervous. The Eagles went on a long, 14-play, 6-minute drive where they really, really leaned on their run game. Hurts was not great as a passer in this game, but he did a really, really good job as a runner. And specifically, kind of as the game went along, the Eagles started to make some adjustments to what the 49ers were doing, had a lot of success on the ground as the game went on. The week prior against the Giants, they put up 38 points. Now, the Chiefs' defense always seems to get better as the season goes along. They gave up 20 points to the Bengals. They gave up, I forget the exact score, but they didn't give up a ton of points to the Jaguars. So I kind of understand why the total's at 24.5, but the Eagles have the advantage, especially in the running game. And the Bengals, as good as they looked the week prior against the Bills, they had a banged-up offensive line. They're missing 3 of their 5 starters in the offensive line. The Eagles are completely healthy. Lane Johnson, playing through a torn groin, hasn't given up a single sack or quarterback hit in his 2 games in the playoffs. He went up against Joey Bosa and Kayvon Thibodeau, some really, really good pass rushers, especially Bosa. And then the Eagles' right or left guard got hurt in the last game against the 49ers. It's reports have come out that he is coming back and he will be fine, and that is Landon Dickerson. So the Chiefs going from the Bengals offensive line banged up to the Eagles offensive line, which is the number 1 run blocking unit in the entire NFL, I think it's obviously going to favor the Eagles a lot. And their offensive coaching staff has done a really, really good job making adjustments as the season goes along. They're really good on the opening drive, and they're really good in the second quarter. They have the best second quarter offense, I think, in NFL history, last time I checked. So all in all, the Eagles are primed to put up a ton of points in this game. I think that it's easy to look at Jalen Hurts' stats in both the Giants and 49ers game and think that the Eagles' passing offense hasn't been good or that they can be stopped. And Hurts has missed some throws, like A.J. Brown. He missed him deep in both the Giants and 49ers game, which probably would have resulted in a touchdown. I think that he will be really good in the Super Bowl. I trust Jalen Hurts, and they're just going to need to do more on offense than they've done the past 2 games. I can assure you they are not going to give up 7 points against the Chiefs, which is what they did in the previous 2 games. So all in all, a lot of factors favor the Eagles offense specifically in this game. Now the Chiefs offense, we can get some value on them as well. I'll talk about that in a previous video. Over 23.5 team total at -120 is really good. So we'll talk about that in a previous one. In this one specifically, I'm talking about why I am backing the Eagles offense and why I am following line movement to do that. So hammer Eagles team total over 24.5 -112 odds at BetRivers. And if you're tailing, comment and let me know. Other than that, if you want to find me, you can on social media at Jedi Modi. And that's it. So appreciate everybody watching and have a good one.